on another road that leads to Henson Hill, where there's a pothole in the road. There used to be a pothole for a long time, and deer used to cross from the right to the left side. So there's a part where I have a habit where if there's no oncoming traffic, I would, cross that yellow line a little bit and miss that pothole. Well, I was going through there at nighttime, and Brian Vickers pulled me over for not maintaining lane. And I had smoked with a buddy when I got off of work, and my jacket smelled like it really strong. And he was convinced I had something. He wanted me to hand it to him. And I didn't have no roach. I didn't have no blood. I didn't have nothing. And he searched my vehicle for a long time. He asked if I had any weapons in the vehicle. When I said I did have a deer rifle, he panicked like the coward he is. He just panicked. And he was saying, there's two of you, only one of me. He cross-cuffed me. I complied. And he kept backing up away from me like he was afraid while I'm handcuffed. He didn't guide my head in the back of the car. And this is me being detained, not being charged. And my head gets smacked against the car, and it hurt for like 2 days. And he never found anything. Never found anything. Not on me. Now, the person that was riding with me had something in her purse that she didn't even know she had. Almost nothing. Well, ever since then, I had a headlight that went out, but you could bump it in and come back on. All my food gets cold. The truck gets torn into a total mess. They don't find anything. They get pulled over again because my tag light's out later on. Same thing, my milk gets hot, it's in the back of the vehicle. They search forever. Same thing, they don't find anything. So, going through Henson Hill, I see 2 police cars pulled over. They got somebody pulled over, but at first I thought it was a wreck. And I didn't want to drive through there if they're like sweeping glass off the road and everything. So I passed and I turned at Union Church, the next place, to go back to my house. The cop follows me, probably because they thought I was trying to avoid them there or something. Yeah, that's where he pulls me over. And it's like the other time they forgot to turn their body camera on. This time the guy says his body camera's acting up. So he got switched body cameras with the other cop. The other cop, I told him, they asked me, do you got well, I give them permission to search. Now, I know what they do it's where a lot of times if you say no, then you got to wait an hour for a police dog. Then they got the dogs trained to they got them trained to hit on vehicles, whether you got anything or not. And then you wait for them to search you. And I got milk, I got groceries. I left at 7 p.m. I went to the dollar store and Subway, got food. I'm just trying to get back to the house to go to work the next day. I'm not trying to be on the side of the road for 2, 3, 4 hours, have my vehicle totally trashed. The black cop, I have never had a cop treat a citizen with as much dignity as that black cop. All these other white cops act fucking insane, like a bunch of sociopaths. I got to give it to credit to that black officer. He was the most courteous and respectful. Like to, I just let y'all search, but my vehicle's been torn up, trashed, disrespected. I just want you to respect my stuff and not make a mess. Well, he agrees to that, but then he gets the very cop that cross-cuffed me, smacked the back of my head into the car, didn't find nothing, and was acting all crazy last time. He waits for that guy to come from the other seat. And that black cop searched both sides of the vehicle. He does not find anything. Then the white cop goes, the same one I told you that's assaulted me, but you can't hardly sue a cop. You got to sue the whole city. They've got that immunity, so they just do whatever the fuck. And he goes back. He goes to the left side, the right side, the left side, the right side. He doesn't find anything. And then his gloves tore. I swear he had a baggie in his glove, puts his hand up under the seat of my vehicle where the damn body camera can't see it, and planted that, because that's all he had. I don't know why he wouldn't plant more to be able to bust me or whatever. He fucking plants that shit on me. Then he takes Brittany around to the back, and he's like, is this yours, that, or the other? And he told her he found it on her side, right? Well, then he comes back around, and he's saying he found it, and I'm like, there's no way. And there ain't no way, because the other cops done searched me like crazy about the headlight. We done cleaned the vehicle out after that. I know, because I spilled rocks and seeds in the floorboard. I done went and, gemstones, not like crack rock or nothing. Gemstones, blue lapis lazuli, like I got some right here in the box. Well, that's a tiger eye gemstone, but I got mixed gemstones. They fell on the floor. So I done seen under the seat. I know nothing was under that seat before that cop come through there. He had the fucking baggie up under his glove. He ripped. He ripped that glove because he had his ass sticking out. He was bent down up under looking up under my seat forever. The body camera's on the chest. He could put his hands under that seat and pull that shit out of his glove, and the body camera not see shit. Also, it's always something with it. It's always he forgot to turn his body camera on. There's a defective body camera. The two cops got to switch their body cameras. It's always some weird fucking shit with the body cameras. And then he's telling her that, and I know she's been clean 6 months. She gonna pass a drug test today to prove it. She's been clean. She ain't been messing with nothing. I ain't never messed with that stuff. I only mess with weed. And I'm quitting that because fuck it. Ain't worth it to have no liabilities. And then I tell him, you planted it. I said it right in front of the other cop, and I said, you planted that. Because I know he planted it. And then he gets mad, and then he wants to change his story and say he found it on my side. Which, that is where he had his hand up under there forever. But when I done looked the vehicle, there was nothing under there before he put it under there. That's why we so confident, like, just go ahead and search the vehicle. Got the food getting cold and all this shit. This Brian Vickers is his name. He lives in Wheeler County, kind of close to where a nursing home is. I get an exact address for y'all. But this man, I worked for 8 years in hazardous conditions. It hurt my lungs, making $140 a week payments for, 6 to 8 years, somewhere in there to buy my land. I'm not about to have some fucking trucking cop go try to plant something on me, or I just go to work and come home. We've got more and more white babies being killed, more and more white women being raped. We got more and more theft. We got more and more Jeffrey Epstein shit. We got Hillary Clinton suicide, killing everybody. And all these cops can do is take the easy shit, arrest white people, like pull white people over for a speeding or a tag or something like that. Try to search, just always trying to go after drugs, this or that or the other. Look, we're the net taxpayers. We're paying them cops. And they're just harassing us on our way to work. They're not doing anything useful. All the houses that is a crack house, they stay a crack house 10 years and they don't fucking figure out how to bust them. They leave that shit alone. And then they say the other cop, the black cop, acts like it's outrageous. The white cop tried to act like it was illegal for me to accuse him. I got a tagline out. It's not reasonable for you to assume you got to search my vehicle for drugs. But it is reasonable for me to think he planted it. Because I know nothing was up under that seat. Well, he gets mad about it, and he's like, how could I do it with a body camera? So I said it. Your gloves ripped. You had your glove up under there. My camera can't see what's up under there. And they just wrote me a ticket for the tag light. They didn't charge me for that empty bag that he put under the seat. Because he's mad because they done searched me 3 times and they never found nothing. They found something in her purse. She got straight that day. She ain't never done nothing since then. And she was already weaning herself off. She was already in the process of quitting then. She didn't even know she had nothing on her purse. I didn't know she had nothing on her purse. They weren't even looking for anything in her purse. My jacket smelled like marijuana that day, and he was searching for a blunt, mad I wouldn't give it to him, and I didn't have it to give it to him. I just smelled like it, but I didn't have it. And he's mad that when he searched, he didn't find nothing on me. Then they searched again and didn't find nothing on me. Then they searched again and didn't find nothing on me. And then they searched again and didn't find nothing and tried to plant something on me, and I called it out. And about the body camera switching shit. I'm tired of being harassed and being searched all the fucking time. They ain't found nothing. And I don't even smoke weed no more because he's fucking Gestapo. But that man can't just be planting drugs. But what I say about how it's ridiculous for him to act like I'm in the wrong to accuse a cop of doing wrongdoing. We had a cop named Patel who was messaging minors trying to fuck them, messaging minors trying to convince them to go to Atlanta. He's an Indian. He's got a wife. And he messaged my minor cousin on Facebook saying, hey, beautiful. I messaged back on Facebook, said, tell your wife. He said something about, why is it any of your business? I said, why are you trying to bring minors to Atlanta? Because these minors, my brother's girlfriend, my cousin, these minors had screen, like, you know how they got screenshot? They also got screen recording. They had screen recording in their iPhones of him messaging them, trying to fuck minors. Okay, so I reported it. And, you know, I normally don't never snitch or something, but if you're a child molester, you're a rapist, you're a murderer, you're just breaking in people's houses, stealing, you need to be reported, right? This cop's a fucking pedophile. He took my brother's phone out of his hand because he said that, no, he took my brother's girlfriend's phone out of her hand because he said my brother was too controlling, and he deleted my brother's phone number out of this minor's phone and tried to convince her to go with him to Atlanta when he's a married man. He's trying to fuck minors. His name's Patel. I don't know his first name. Well, it was a scandal. And then the girls, they get scared. They're like, I don't want no drama and whatever, because I wanted them to submit the evidence. Because, you know, I don't need to get charged. I'm going after this cop that's a pedophile. I don't need him planting shit on me. I don't need him trying to sue me for slander because these girls won't come forward with the evidence. But anyway, the cop moved on to another city. But he had a sexual misconduct charge before he ever come to Wheeler County, and they still hired the motherfucker. And then we got two fucking sociopaths. They are. Sociopaths are attracted to the profession. The eyes get all big. They get all sexually aroused when they're ordering people stuff to do. They truck it as fuck. Another cops in McRae, right? There used to be this prostitute named Crystal, and she had to get up money to give the cops so they wouldn't bust her for prostitution because they basically pimped her out. They exploited her. They knew they could bust her for prostitution, so they wanted a cut of the prostitution. You got Merritt, that cop working in Wheeler County. He buys prostitutes. You got that other black cop, I can't think of his name right now. He buys prostitutes. You got the Randy Rigdon that took the damn 16-year-old black boy and bashed his head into the asphalt. He's not sheriff no more. Busted his head open. That black kid smelled like weed. They wanted to ask him what his name is. He took off running. So I'm not saying that you got the right to resist arrest or whatever, but they shouldn't have 4 or 5 different cops jumped on the boy and grabbed him by his dreads and bashed his head into the road till it split his head open and he's in the hospital bleeding out and having to have all them stitches. That's fucking ridiculous. And it's also ridiculous that a lot of white people believe the bullshit rumors about him. They started rumors like, oh, he was violent, he was a bad kid at school. My brother went to school with him. They said he was a chill guy, he was a nice guy, he never caused no problems. Worst thing he ever did is he smoked some weed. He got his head bashed into the asphalt for it. You got another cop, he was stealing vehicles, find recovered stuff, they'd bury it, sell it for scrap later. You got the cops that was stealing from the city. You got, basically, I have known in my lifetime cops that have been pedophiles. I've known cops that have taken cuts of prostitution. I know cops that plant drugs on people. I know drugs they'll steal from the city. Don't tell me that a cop is like above reproach just because he's got that badge on. I know cops that just laughed at people when they had the kids taken away from them. You know, fucking Dustin Oliver, if any woman is just showing him his boobs, he let her off. He did, like, they brag about it. They done got off because they showed their boobs to him. These cops are not above reproach, y'all. And the thing is, a lot of these black people, they do resist arrest, they do act crazy, and they do bring it on themselves. But a lot of these black people can't afford a lawyer. If you're poor and you can't afford a lawyer, they know who to fuck with and who not to. The cop knows, okay, this family, they got money, they're connected to the city. This family, they'll get a lawyer and sue my ass. Like when they fucking killed Wade's dad. Wade's dad was completely innocent. It was proven that he was innocent. He got lied on and falsely accused. They put him in a cell, no charges. He was in there forever. They couldn't figure out what was going on. He got stressed out, got cancer. By the time they got him out, he was dead. Now, Wade was able to fight the city, get up enough money, and sue their ass. But you know, if it wasn't for Glenn Giles, Wade's dad would be alive. And I like Glenn Giles. I think he's got a good heart. But he automatically took the woman's side without knowing the facts. It wasn't out of evilness. It was just incompetence. And he fucking killed Wade Purvis's dad, basically. But he is a good man. And he is a sheriff, and I'm going to vote for him next year. But every other one's worse. And I mean, they really want to crack down on the hard drugs, and I'm for that. I'm tired of, you know, people. I got a key on my gas pump because I had my gas siphoned out so many times by meth heads, and I'm just trying to get to work. And I respect that Glenn Giles let a woman go in and report about the rape attempt on her without busting her for her disorderly. She had other charges, so it made her scared to go to the police. So people were taking advantage of her. And that's why I voted for him and I supported him. But the fact that he keeps Brian Vickers employed is bullshit. That man, he is being hostile. He's a coward. And so he uses excessive force. He freaks out. He's paranoid. He's got like a personal grudge against me because I called him a coward. Now he's trying to plant shit on me. But the thing is, when she was so serious about it, she was like, drug test me now, drug test me now. He knew he couldn't just. And they didn't ever, they wound up dropping the charges on all that because the city didn't want to get sued because they done had he just got elected sheriff. He don't want his officers, they all going to court about them assaulting people. The way they cross-cuffed me, hit me, the way they done her, the way he didn't have his body camera on and separated her from me. This cops could be fucking molesting these women and nobody know because they're turning their body cameras off, switching their body cameras on and whatever. And Randy Rigdon was racist against black people. I think that's fair to say. How heavy-handed he was on black people. And so we removed him and replaced with Glenn Giles. But damn, like Randy, a lot of people said you need to keep him because he just doesn't do his job. He just minds his business. And shit, that might be better than having a fucking Gestapo. No matter what you get pulled over for, they want to search. Your food's cold. This is fucking wasting people's time. People trying to get to work. People trying to make money. You ticketing people on all this little stuff shit. Like my job, right? I work Monday through Friday. I sometimes work 12 hours. I sometimes work 8 hours. And sometimes it's just construction. It's when it's done, it's done. But by the time I get off work and I drive, because there's almost no jobs in Wheeler County, unless you're going to be a logger or work at the prison. So I got to drive to Vidalia to work and drive back. I'm going to work all day until whenever, and then I got an hour back drive home. Every mechanic in that local area is closed on the weekends and closed after 5. So when am I supposed to find the time? You know, and then I got to go all the way to McCray the parts store's closed. So it's really hard unless I take a day off of work for me to be able to get a part to replace anything on my vehicle. So they asked me why my tag light's out. One, I didn't know my tag light was out. But I can't do anything about it on a Sunday. And it's hard to do it through the week. And then now also it's hard to scrape by and make it. I don't hardly make anything. You know, like I could go work for the prison and get paid twice as much, 3 times as much, 4 times as much. I could work 20 years for All Pro and maybe get a penny raise here and there, and I would never get anything comparable to if I just quit and worked at another job. But if you didn't have people willing to work for the cheap, American citizens that don't take no government assistance, working for the cheap to build America, America wouldn't get built. If I was smart, I wouldn't work none of the jobs I've worked. I would leave them and go work and get paid more. But I like to build America. I like to do jobs. I like building lawnmowers. I like putting up gutters and roll up doors. And I don't want to be a prison guard. A lot of fucking psychos do. There are good people that work at the prison, but I've heard the prisoner workers, they get off and they just brag about bullying prisoners. And I know some people, they say, well, these prisoners shouldn't have gone to prison, and that's true. There's degrees. Like, there's some people in prison that deserve to be in prison, and there's people that are in prison that if the Constitution was followed, they wouldn't even be in prison. But it's not right for guards to like bully prisoners. And you got some of these prisoners, they die, and with the autopsy, they figure out they were already dead before they got stomped in with boots. It's like there's very good cops, and these psychopath cops are making it hard for the good cops to do their jobs. And they wonder why people don't respect them or like them. And it's because you've got some of the most vile humans on the face of the planet that do not inspire leadership in anyone. They do not inspire respect in anybody. Nobody's ever going to respect these horrible people. They're never going to get respect. So they got to put a badge on to get some kind of fake respect from people who fear the state, not that individual officer, but he gets to share in that feeling of power, that false sense of authority. And that's why they work so cheap for that authority. They work to have people say, yes, officer, to obey their orders. That's what they're doing it for, some of them. They just like to tell people what to do. And they can never inspire someone. They can never lead anyone. They can never live an honorable life, and anybody want to be like them. And all the people that grew up that wanted to be a cop to be a hero, they weren't talking about wanting to be like them. Like the cops that take cuts for prostitution, like the cops that sleep with prostitutes, like the cops that plant drugs on people, like the cops that steal tax money, like the cops like Patel that are pedophiles. There's pedophiles wearing badges, y'all. So, basically, like I say about the other stuff, with the personal experience and what I've lived and seen, like that old black grandpa right over there in the quarters in Alamo, his grandson was acting all crazy, stealing from the family, acting all crazy, and he starts raising his voice at his grandson, getting on to him like he should. He ought to get on to his grandson. And then somebody say he's disorderly or something, the cops tased him. The man wound up having a heart attack or something. The nurses were cussing the cops out. And they just tased that old man for getting on his grandson, said he's disorderly. That is absolutely insane. That happened years and years ago. And then they just started tasing everybody for anything and anything. Y'all remember the tase era? Don't tase me, bro. They was tasing everybody because they just was having fun tasing people. And then they tased that guy on the four-wheeler. Everybody, all kind of white people been riding four-wheelers up to the gas station getting gas. And there might be a law that you can't have the four-wheeler on the road and go up to the gas station. I don't know what the law is about it, but they ain't been enforcing it. They don't, like, all over the city of McRae, they riding four-wheelers. Nobody says anything about it. And Alamo, white people been going back and forth to the gas station. This black guy, it's almost night. He goes to the gas station in Alamo, and he's getting gas, and the cops come and start raising hell at him about it. And he gets offended because he feels like, shit, all the white people do it. It can't be illegal. Like, he should be able to do it, right? And then he gets tased. And I don't know if the guy they caught is guilty or not, but a different black guy shot that cop and killed him. Now, I'm not for lawlessness and whatever, But you know, we had to shoot the redcoats to have liberty. We had to. And grateful. I'm glad it happened. I'm sorry for that cop. I'm glad it happened because after he died, they stopped tasing everybody for everything. They realized, damn, there is some consequence. If you constantly abuse, don't treat the American people with any dignity, are so heavy-handed, so quick to assault them, so quick to abuse your power, one of them might do something about it. And they can't solve nothing. They steal all your stuff. The cops can't solve a single crime. But when that cop got shot, they had the guy that killed him in handcuffs, or they say he killed him like that day. Because, you know, they got the GSI, they call it something else, GSA. I think you hardly can't even look them up on Google anymore. They get way more money than the CIA. The government's got satellite watching the ground 24/7. And they got to get a warrant from a judge for stuff to be admissible in court or whatever. The NSA's got everybody's phone hacked, listening to everybody. They got the TVs hacked, listening to everybody. So if they really wanted to solve something, they really know. They just don't care. It's not worth it for them to find out unless a cop gets shot. And so, you know, when that cop got shot, they listened to all the phones, tracked all the phones, looked on the satellite and everything. And they just arrested a black guy with a criminal record. You know, the guy said he was innocent the whole time. And they might have just went and said, okay, we got to tell people something got done about this cop getting killed. This guy's got he's assaulted an officer on his record. Let's go arrest him. It might have been something like that. I don't know. Because they're not above planting evidence. They're not above forging documents. They're not above lying. They're not above intimidation. They're not above assault. They know that hardly anybody in the whole county's got enough money to sue any of them. And they just do whatever the hell they want to do if they can get away with it. It is crazy they're abusing their power. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You could go to Holdingford County and not run into a single cop like that. Like, I ain't never heard of no shit like that happening in Dawsonville. I'm not saying it don't. But it just depends. So there's some people, they live in a place where the cops are good. Nobody has no problems with them. Every now and then somebody acts crazy. And so when there are cops that abuse their power, people don't believe those people. They're like, you must have been resisting. You must have been doing something crazy. Some of these cops are just sociopaths that get off on a power high. Some of these cops are not good people. You know, there's people that work for DFACS that are pedophiles that sell children to other pedophiles. DFACS is infiltrated by pedophiles. Just because someone's an officer of the government doesn't make them good. And the higher up you go, the more wicked they get. Till they fucking kids on Epstein's Island. It is a mistake to think, you know, if you're a cop and you just care about serving the people, you're not going to get promoted as fast as a sociopath that's willing to shoot people. Look, these cops that are willing to plant drugs on people, their record's going to look better. They're going to look like they're just cleaning up the streets of drugs. They got all these different drug busts. Their record is going to look better than the honest cop's record. They're going to get promoted over the honest cop. The people that ain't going to take money from APEC, your honorable politicians, they're not going to be able to get as much revenue for TV advertisements as people that are taking money from the Jewish lobby. There's just things like that. If you're taking money from the Jewish lobby and you're a pedophile that the Jews can blackmail, you're more likely to become president than if not. This country's fucked up. There is no justice for all. There never was. The Masons have all these secret symbols where they help get each other off if they go to court or they get in trouble and whatever. It's been like that since the founding of the country. There was never justice for all. At the very founding of the country, you're useful idiots. These Gentiles that were working for the Jews as Masons, they were greedy for money, sold themselves out for the Jews in the very beginning of the country. They always had a secret underground way to get and avoid justice. So if you've got a cop that's into that witchcraft, bullshit, Mason shit, he's more likely to be sheriff. They're more likely to be judge if they're a Mason. If they're in the military, they're more likely to get ahead if they're a Mason than if they're not. If you're a Mason or Bavarian Illuminati or a Jesuit, so if you're any of those three organizations that are really controlled by the Jews, you're more likely to get ahead. If you sell out your own people for the Jews, you're more likely to get ahead. A lot of these people don't even know they work for the Jews. They're kicking their money up to the people at the top of the organization. They don't know where that goes. They just know they was able to get a job easier. But you can't really be a Muslim, and you can't really be a Christian and be a Mason. Because if you go and you do all the Mason oaths and rituals and say the things the Masons want you to say, it's going to wind up contradicting your religion and leading you toward Luciferianism. And they'll give it to charity to try to cover what they really are. But I've always been a bunch of Kabbalistic witches. Not able to see the chats at the moment. I would just think he's talking. Text to focus. So, but it's crazy. You know, like I said, I worked 8 years. Got my lungs almost ruined breathing in all that concrete dust and fiberglass. I sacrificed a lot. And I already didn't make very much money. It was hard making them land payments to get my land. And I'm going to be at work, working. I don't take any government assistance. I pay all my own bills. I'm going to be at work. And while I'm working, I got to worry that cops are going to be coming on my land trying to plant shit, trying to steal my land, trying to fuck up my reputation, because they mad that I tell the truth about them. See, the two cops sat across from the railroad tracks, supposed to watch to see if anybody runs the red light. 3 different people ran the red light, and they didn't notice it, but they did throw their snack trash out on the side of the road, and they did just sit there talking to each other. And I'm sitting here watching this out my window. I'm watching 2 cops that they get paid off my taxes litter and not stop anybody passing the stop sign. But they got time to try to plant stuff on people. They got time to bash a black 16-year-old boy's head in the asphalt. They got time to lock up an innocent man to get stressed to cancer and dies. They got time for all that shit. They got time for anything that's easy and safe for them. All the dangerous neighborhoods, they're not there. They're going to be in the places that were already safe before they were there. All the crack houses that have been there 10, 15 years, they're still going to be there. They're not going to do anything that's a danger to them. They're going to look for the easy ways to raise revenue for the county, and they're going to go after people that they have personal vendettas against. And I'm sorry, Brittany's had 2 back surgeries. He's got scoliosis, and I was in handcuffs. How are you still saying there's 2 of you, there's 1 of me? Just because I got a deer rifle in the back of the truck? How are you feeling the need to be so heavy-handed, cross-cuff me, pull my shoulder out of the socket, and bash the back of my head in the cop car? If I take a step toward him, he takes 5 steps back. He can't guide my head in because he's so afraid. What am I to think other than the man's a coward? And then because I tell the sheriff he's a coward now, every time he sees me, he's going to want to search. And then when he can't never find nothing on me, he's going to attempt to plant something on me. Fuck Brian Vickers. And he eats like a fucking pig. He goes to my mama's restaurant. If anybody was to come in, he wouldn't be alert or not. Got his face all over food, just shoving food down his face. Disgusting. Most cops, they'll sit somewhere where they can watch the door, watch people coming and go, and make sure nobody comes behind them. This guy, they made one YouTube video picking on him a little bit because I'm tired of this shit. But he really does just slop like a fucking pig in a trough. Fucking disgusting. Remember the cops in the 90s? They were in shape. They could chase people down. These cops looking like them people off Wall-E. Okay, I'm at work. I gotta go to work so I can make money to pay this ticket, fix my tag light.